guy.
Yes.
And you think he's going to talk me off the ledge a little bit
I
this
know
week?
he is.
All
I
right.
absolutely know my boy is getting ready to preach gospel. Church.
49er analyst, NBC Sports Authentic, host of the Good Hang Pod, among other pods. Rod Brooks with us. Happy Friday, Rod. How are you?
Happy Friday to you, fellas. A couple of things. I got to come by there and kick it with you guys.
Please.
One Friday.
Please.
When the season is over. No, seriously, I'm going to do that. And, man, congratulations on lighting that beam a couple of days ago.
That's right. We
We
weren't even
snuck
going to
one
go
out.
there. We weren't even going to go there on you, Rod.
No, there's no ulterior motive, man. Congrats on lighting that beam, baby. Yeah.
Hey, we'll take it even if you're missing the big three. We'll take it. We no qualms over here, brother.
Hey, get it how you live, all right?
That's right. That's right.
Get it how you live.
That's right.
I need your help, Rod. I'm a little concerned about the Rams, and I tend to run that way anyway. And Jay every week is like, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. But what do the 49ers have to do? What did they do against the Rams the first time that they'll need to do again Sunday to beat them again?
I share your skepticism, quite frankly.
All right.
But hey, I'm not saying it's impossible, but the Niners are going to have to be on point in all three phases. And it can be done, but that's a hard way to live. But I do think the past is prologue. Okay, what happened in Week 5? A good chunk of that is going to happen on Sunday for the Niners to be in position to win. So the Niners won Week 5 because they dominated in time of possession, 40-04 to 26-20. They ran 83 plays. They had 6 scoring drives, and out of those 6 scoring drives, 4 of them were double digits. They had 3 12-play drives, and they had 1 17-play drive. Now, the Niners were only 2-5 in the red zone, but that's when Eddie Pinheiro started to become Eddie De Niro around here, and people realized the value, not that they realized, but they were happy to have a field goal kicker that could convert even if you didn't score in the red zone. So the Niners are going to have to play keep away. And I think it's possible for them to do because they're in a better space as far as running the football, much more so than they were against the Rams in Week 5. Because remember, that was a lot of Mac Jones, threw the ball 49 times, getting it out, getting it quick, beating that Rams pass rush. So I say all that to say that's what they have to do. That's possible. But the Rams, one of the best defenses in the league, all right, they're with the Texans. We saw what happened to the Niners a couple of weeks ago when they faced the Texans. They were unable to do anything. And Matthew Stafford is on the literal definition of a heater. 21 touchdowns, 2 picks. You can count on Matthew Stafford for throwing you in that now. So if he's not making mistakes and the Niners are still trying to figure out how to get a pass rush with 4 guys, and you can't blitz Matthew Stafford, he's got 16 touchdowns and 0 interceptions against the blitz this season. The Saints tried to blitz him last week, and all 4 of his touchdowns came on the Saints trying to blitz him. So you can't blitz Stafford. The Niners are trying to figure out a pass rush. They got a young secondary behind them. If the Niners cannot keep that Rams offense off the field, that's gonna expose the back half of that defense. And I don't think that's exposure you can have over the course of a 60-minute game and win it.
I'm not feeling much better, Jay.
I know. I
appreciate the honesty and the insight.
Dude, I was sitting here formulating
but
a question.
I want to be wrong, right? But, man, I told you they were going to beat the Falcons.
Yeah.
They beat the Falcons. I told
That's
you they
right.
were going to beat
That's
the
right.
Giants, and they beat the Giants. But those are 2 teams that the Niners could run on. I don't know if they can run on this Rams squad. Maybe they will. And they have the ability and the tools to do it now, especially with their, with their center guard combo in the middle of their offensive line, playing much better over the last couple of weeks. I just look at what these Rams have done, and I see what the Niners are, for lack of a better way of putting it, deficient at, and it's just not a good combo. Now, if this gets into a shootout, okay, I'm down with that. If this becomes like a field goal game, I give that to the Niners because of what they have in Eddie Pinheiro. And the Rams, they just tried out a kicker. They're bringing Harrison Mevis in. The Rams special teams is ranked in EPA 31st. So if the Niners are able to keep this close, there is an advantage. but are they going to be able to keep it close? Of course, they're going to be desirous to do it, but are they going to be able to do it?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here
So,
we
Rod,
go.
if I'm hearing you, and please correct me if I'm wrong, this game looks to be two ways for you. This is probably a lopsided win, albeit you see lopsided for the Rams, or this is a shootout and the 49ers have an opportunity. So I guess my question to you is, the only way, with an exception to the rule, that the team wins is that this has to be a shootout?
I think it has to be a shootout. Yeah. I think what the Niners can do with the Rams is they can go toe-to-toe with them offensively. This is why you're paying Robert Saleh the money they're paying him. He has to figure out a way to slow Matthew Stafford and that offense down. And I just don't know how he's going to do it. Is it possible? Yes, because Saleh is that good of a coordinator. You are getting Bryce Huff back. But to me, it goes even beyond getting at Matthew Stafford, as important as it is. What is the Niners' run defense going to look like now that they don't have Mykel Williams, along with not having Fred Warner, along with not having Nick Bosa? Again, these are questions that right now I can't answer. Robert Saleh said, I'm paraphrasing here, he flew a little bit too close to the sun with all those blitzes against the Texans a couple of weeks ago because of the lack of a traditional Niner pass rush. And all C.J. Stroud did was just, pick those blitzes up by either getting the ball out quick to his hots, having quick passes, and the Texans offensive line absolutely stonewalled those blitzes. So, he knows that he can't blitz Matthew Stafford. Where does the pass rush come from? Is the run defense going to be able to hold up? How do the Niners defensively get off the field to limit their exposure to the Rams offense? And how do they get off the field to get the ball back to the strength of this Niner team, which is their offense? Because what you don't want to have happen is what happened in the Houston game. The Niners couldn't use their best weapon, their offense, because they couldn't get it on the field. If they have that problem against the Rams, it's going to be a long afternoon, in my estimation.
Rod Brooks with us, of course, 49er analyst, NBC Sports Authentic. What do you think was the main reason, the primary reason why the 49ers did not do anything at the deadline, and do you think they'll end up regretting not doing anything?
I don't know if they're going to regret it. The reason they didn't do it because the cost was too high. All right? Listen, Jerry Jones is the only dummy out here that is giving up draft picks. Okay? Giving up ones and twos and that kind of dumb stuff. The Niners are in the midst of not a rebuild, but they're in the midst of getting younger and cheaper. I'm sure I've mentioned this to you guys over the last couple of weeks. And the Niners, the only way you can do that is with draft picks. All right? 2025, they went heavy on the defense. 2026, presumably, they're going to go heavy on the offense. But the Niners are in a state of transition, I think is the best way to put that. They value draft capital because they have to get younger and they have to get cheaper to supplement the high-priced, high-talent players like Christian McCaffrey, like Bosa, like Kittle,
Fred Warner,
and another couple of guys. Right, exactly. So they're not going to give away draft picks for a riddle. I think that's a very reasonable point of view. There's no way you give the Bengals a number one for Trey Hendrickson. And by the way, nobody else gave the Bengals a number one for Trey Hendrickson.
Nope.
There's no way you give the Jets a 2 for Jermaine Johnson. How does that make the Niners look bad in not doing that when no one else in the league gave the Jets a 2 for Jermaine Johnson? Give a 2 and a 3 or whatever for Bradley Chubb. When it comes to trades, I know you guys understand this, especially in basketball, that being able to deal from a position of strength is desirous, but what you don't want to do is deal from a position of weakness, because that's when you end up making bad trades. And for the Niners, even if you don't like it or not, because of what they're trying to do, getting younger and cheaper, they're not going to give away a valuable 2026 draft pick for a piece that they could use, but is not going to be helpful to them in 2026 and beyond. It just doesn't make sense. And from my point of view, that does make sense for them to have that point of view, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brain says yes, yes, but Jay, my heart's like no, no,
Yeah,
no.
I mean,
But I get it.
Rod,
I get it.
I had to turn up to the Bishop Don Juan just to get him to jump off the ledge about them not trading this week, Rod. I said, man, we need Rod Brooks quickly. I almost called you for an emergency hookup, brother.
But I get it. I get it. I do.
But so we always appreciate the gospel.
Yeah.
Somebody you told I mentioned Fred Warner, and you talked about some of the guys that they're looking for to step up and be a part of, maybe the next wave or the next transitioning into the next wave of 49ers. Tatum Bethune has led the league in tackles since week 6 at 50 and some change. What happens? Fred Warner is Captain America, no doubt about that. But they might have found something with Tatum Bethune, and I say might have found something coming into this season. They were definitely easily okay with Tatum Bethune stepping in and not finding, anyone for Captain America. What have they stumbled upon? Maybe another great linebacker?
I mean, listen, I would dare say that, over the last 15 to 18 years, the Niners have done as an organization, albeit with different general managers, different coaches, different philosophies, but the Niners as an organization, they know linebackers, right?
Yeah.
They know how to find them. They know what they want. They get them. They plug them in. And more than often than not, those guys are pretty damn good. So it's not a surprise to me that the Niners found themselves another gem in Tatum Bethune, and he has been absolutely outstanding. And you guys understand the job that he is being asked to do, and the person he's being asked to fill in for, and the job that guy does. It's very early, and listen, man, Matthew Stafford's is tough. I mean, who knows what we're going to see, but I don't think you could have expected anything better from Tatum Bethune. The one thing I was very impressed with last week, albeit against the Giants, is how organized and how buttoned up the Niners look at linebacker and also on the back end of that defense. And that's something that Fred Warner does. So he's doing a damn good Fred Warner impression. And I just kudos to the young man because, again, not only filling Fred Warner's shoes in terms of what he does on the field, but what he does from a cerebral standpoint and that leadership standpoint. Tatum Bethune has been absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, I'm going to throw you a curveball here because I know you can stand in and hit it, probably take it the other way.
Yeah, boy.
Replacing Fred Warner would be like replacing what drummer in a band? Not an easy task.
It would be, I tell you what, it would be like the young lady who's going to fill in for Neil Peart with Rush.
Wow.
Rush is going back out on tour, so Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, the voice, bassist, and the lead guitarist, respectively, going back out on tour. And the great Neil Peart, who died a few years ago, many people thought that was it for Rush. We would never see them again. We would never hear them make music. Well, they've decided, and I forget the young lady's name, but they've hired a young lady from Germany who's going to fill in for, one of the top 3 drummers of all time. You're talking rock drummers over the last 60 years. There's 4 names that come up: Ringo Starr, John Bonham, Keith Moon, my personal favorite, and Neil Peart. This young lady is going to come fill in for Neil Peart and go on tour with the remaining members of Rush. So there's my answer to you, because I can't wait to see what this young lady does. She must be damn good if and Alex Lifeson are like, okay, we're gonna do something. Because listen, we Rush fans, being one, we're a bunch of nerds, and we're really, really picky about who was a part of the deal. And she's not replacing Neil Peart, but she's sitting behind the kit. She's sitting on that throne. The pressure on that young lady is unbelievable, because if she gets it wrong, that's going to be a problem for people. If she gets it right, we're just going to say, well, that's what she was supposed to do.
supposed to do, right?
Yeah. Annika Niles, Annika Niles or Nias is her name. Nilles, the new drummer for Rust. That's an
Dang.
awesome
Look
answer,
at,
Ron.
look at Rob.
Yeah.
And
I know. He
I'm going to
crushed
follow
it.
up on that real fast. Is that a Yo MTV rap shirt? What is that over there, brother?
You know what it is?
I knew it. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Back when
That was going to be
MTV
my
was
final
good.
question, Rod. Enough of the 49ers. Let's talk about Yo MTV Raps. They need to bring it back, you know?
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they
Listen,
do, man.
Hip hop is in a state of transition. I think we
It
could
is.
use some Yo MTV raps on a daily basis. Absolutely, we could.
You're not lying, man. It is something that was it set the foundation for a long time in hip hop,
Yeah.
and you know, when you it's kind of one of those things, legendary status. When you lose things like that, you know, it's irreplaceable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truly is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I do have one more football question for you, if I may. And I know that this day and age of media, and we're in the media, we're all in the media, I know, but somebody asks a coach something, the coach says something, and it gets aggregated. It ends up in a different spot. We all look at it. We all end up someplace different from where we should be. So my question is, Brock Purdy is going to play this year, right, Ron? I mean, he's going to play this year, right?
Yes, Brock Purdy is going to
Okay,
play
thank
this
you.
year. It will not be this week,
Yeah.
to a bit of my surprise, or at least I thought he would be the backup quarterback. We just did 49ers Now on NBC Sports Bay Area's YouTube channel, and Matt Mayoko's down at the Niners facility. He said that in Matt Mayoko's opinion, he doesn't even think that Brock Purdy is going to suit up and be the backup. And you know, what Kyle Shanahan has said over the last couple of weeks is that the expectation would be that Brock Purdy would suit up. And I took that to mean as well, he will be the backup quarterback. Now, that still may be something that will happen, but Matt Mayoko obviously is a guy that I trust, very trusted reporter. But
Yeah.
Matt's opinion,
Absolutely.
you know, leads him to say publicly that he doesn't think that Brock Purdy is even going to suit up. That tells you, I don't want to say it tells you a lot, but obviously he's not going to play this week, and he's not going to be one play away. Brock Purdy will be. But I believe that Brock Purdy will be the starting quarterback next week against the Arizona Cardinals, and definitely will be the quarterback going forward, barring injury.
Let me follow that up, because we've had this conversation, and I'll ask you for another. We know how Shanahan and CMC and things, the organization treated it last year. To follow that up, we will see Brandon Ayuk this year.
Hey guys, it's been so fun talking to you. I don't know.
Don't know.
I
don't know.
But I know the decision. You know, if he doesn't play in this hypothetical scenario, it won't be out of malice. It won't be because the two parties are fighting with each other. It will be a decision based on whether Brandon Ayuk can go out there and play football. And play football up to the level that he needs to and desires to, and also in being able to protect himself on the field. His knee was completely and totally destroyed last year. And I get what people say with the Niners. Well, they've been kind of teasing his practice window could open up, you know, before the first game against the Rams 5 weeks ago. Clearly, it didn't open up. And then, you know, John Lynch said a couple of weeks ago, well, his practice window could open up here in a couple of weeks, and it still hasn't opened up. It's not because, again, the two parties are warring. It's just because that knee is not allowing Brandon Ayuk to hit certain benchmarks in terms of him being able to get back on the practice field and then on an actual field where a game is being played. So if I had to pick one, I would say yes. But what seemed to be somewhat certain 5-6 weeks ago is looking less and less certain now. But to answer your question, I would pick yes over no. But at this point, it's still up in the air.
You know, Rod Brooks always brings it. He is always top shelf, always, right? But today it's like he reached a new level or something, don't you think?
He's going to get it, man. I told you he was going to preach.
I know.
Told you,
It's that
man.
time of
Pulpit.
year, man. I mean, we
Yes,
get
sir, it is, baby.
It's starting to get serious. You got to up your game, man.
Pass the offering table around, Rod. The offering plate.
Thank you, Rod. We appreciate it as always. We'll see you on TV.
All right, fellas. See you next week.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, big time.
Yeah.
All right, now.
Woo.
Man.
I think I feel a little better.
You should.
I think.
You should, man.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel too good about the Ayuk thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. Too bad we had to end on that note, but I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, we're coming to you, of course, from Revival just next to the Gold One Center.